First thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com. You need to select math as your subject. Your grade level is grade 5s. Okay. And the topic that we would be studying today is multiplication. Okay. I'll give you the chapter number and the lesson number. Okay. The chapter number is 11 and the lesson number is 9. The chapter number is 11 and the lesson number is 9. Today we would be studying multiply by two-digit numbers. And we will look at word problems, okay? And we would be studying word problems for today. So I hope you have. Hi, welcome to the class. So let's join the class and let's go to grade 5s and chapter 11, that is multiplication, and lesson number 9, okay? Multiply by two-digit numbers, okay? So let's see what our first question is asking us, okay? They are saying we need to solve, I'll just copy the question on the screen, okay? A sporting goods factory puts, I'll just rearrange this so that we have enough space. Playground balls, how many shipments, how many balls would be there? And 67 shipments, okay? So this is more readable for us. For the first question that begins this topic, a sporting goods factory puts 65 playground balls in each shipment, right? How many playground balls would be there in 67 shipments, okay? So what we need to do is, we need to find the total number of balls in the shipment, right? So can we say we multiply these numbers together? Can we multiply 65 shipments is multiplied by 65 balls is multiplied by 67 shipments, right? So when we do multiplication, what we can say is 7 times 5 is 35. Okay. And 6 times 7 is 42 plus 3 is 45. We ignore the units for the next value. And what we say is 6 times 5 was 30. We put 0 and 3 is carried on 6 on the tens. 6 times 6 is 18. Right? 6 times 6 is, oh, sorry, 6 times 6 is 36. My bad. I was doing by a 3. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 3, right? That would become 39. When we add these values together, 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 9 is 13. 1 is carried to the thousands, and this comes out to be 4,355. So we can say the factory will put 4,355 playground balls in how many shipments? In 67 shipments, right? Do we agree on this? Do we have any queries, any questions regarding this? Okay. If no questions, we will move on to the next. Okay. What we all had to do was we had to find the total number of balls. Okay. How many playground balls will be there? So what we did was there were 65 in each shipment and there were 67 shipments. So we simply multiply the numbers together. Okay. moving to the next question, the question number 2 of the word problems of two-digit numbers multiplication states that a school, okay, just let me copy. The question number 2 says this. I'll just move ahead. Okay, let's rearrange this so that we have more space. Okay, on each bus. Okay, so the question number 2 over here says a school owns 14 buses, right? They have 14 buses and each bus has 57 seats on each bus, right? So what we need to find is how many seats are there in total on all the buses? How can we simplify this? What we can say is if one bus has 57 seats, then 14 buses will have 57 multiplied by 14, right? So we can say 57 is multiplied by 14. And let's see what the answer would be. What is 4 times 7? 7 times 4 is 28. We keep the 8 and we carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. So whenever we are multiplying with the tens, the first position becomes a 0. The unit becomes a 0 because we are multiplying with the tens, right? 1 into 7 is 7. 1 multiplied by 7 was 7. 1 multiplied by 5 was 5. When we add these numbers together, we will get our final answer. That is 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 plus 7 is 9. And 2 plus 5 is 7, right? Let's verify. 57 multiplied by 14 would come out to be 798. We always give our answer as a final statement, right? So we can write the answer as there are 798 seats on 14 buses. Okay, this is the number of total seats. Agreed? Thank you. Let's go to question number 3. In question number 3, they are saying Craig organized a walk for charity that is 55 miles long. Okay, I'll just copy. Meanwhile, I was reading this. Okay, if this was a question given to us, let's see, let's put the question properly. How many miles walked in all by everyone started? I'm just rearranging the question so that we have more space, okay? Okay, and it's much more readable now. So for the question number 3, it states that Craig organized a walk for charity that was 55 miles long. Okay. For those who started, 90 people completed. How many people completed the walk? 90. So they are asking us how much these 90 people walk altogether. How many miles did these 90 people? We are doing multiplication. We are doing two-digit numbers. We are multiplying two-digit numbers. And we are doing word problems today, okay? So the question number 3 says, it was a 55-mile long walk, and there were 90 people who completed the walk. How many miles were walked in all by the people who completed the walk? So we need to find how much did 90 people walk. So can we say 90 is multiplied by how much was one walk? It was 55 miles long, right? So when we multiply, 0 times 5 is 0. 5 times 9 is 45. We put a 0 on the units. 5 times 0 is 0. And 9 times 5 is 45. So when we add them together, 0, 5, 9, and 4. So this is the total distance that was traveled, right? So what we can say is, so what our statement can be, 90 people walked 4,950 miles together, or altogether, right? That means together combined, they walked this particular distance, right? I'll just verify 19 to 55 is 4950. Okay. Sometimes it's better to we do the manual working, and in the end we'll just use a calculator to verify, because we are humans and we can make mistakes, right? So over here we are trying to learn ways in which we will not make mistakes. Okay. Moving ahead to the next question, the question number 4 in this topic says a construction company, it's related to a construction company. Let's see what the construction company is doing. Are they constructing, or yes, no, they are not. A construction company bought cement, right? And this is given as this. Okay. A construction company purchased 90 tons of cement, right? This is question number 4. They bought 90 tons of cement. The price was $78 per ton. We need to find the total amount they spent on the cement. So that means how many tons were there? There was 90 tons, and per ton it was $78, right? So once we multiply these numbers together, we will find the total cost of the cement the company had to pay. Okay, I'm just putting a partition over here so that we can differentiate between the working of question 3 and question number 4. So we know that 8, any number multiplied by a 0 is a 0. What is 8 times 9? 8 times 9 would be 72. We put a 0 for the tens. 7 times 0 is still a 0. 7 times 9 is 63, right? When we add them together, 0 plus 0 is 0, 2 plus 0 is 2, 7 plus 3 is 10, and we carry, and we put over here. Okay, so we can verify 90 into 78 would always be equals to 7020. But this would be in dollars, right? Because this is the price. So can we say the statement that the company paid, paid dollars $7,020 for the cement? Agreed? Ton is a very good question. 1 ton would be equals to 1000 kg. Okay, it's just an expression, right? It doesn't have to be the actual price. 1 ton is 1000 kgs, because when we see the weight of, let's suppose we see oil tankers, containers, sometimes on the bridges we see it says 20, we would see a logo like this. I'll show you something. Okay, we would see an instruction like this, a pole next to the bridge. There would be a pole and it says 20 T, right? That means the allowed weight is 20 tons. Okay, that means when we multiply it by 1,000, that means 20,000 kilograms of weight is allowed to be moved over the bridge, right? So the tons are used. We cannot write a ship would be millions of kilograms, right? So we do not write millions of kilograms. So we divide by 1,000 to give the value in a ton. Okay. Do we agree on that? This is just an example, right? The value where ton is used, right? So this was just giving us an example where tons. In heavier quantities we don't use ton. Like a human cannot be 1,000 kg, right? But a car that is 1,000 kgs, they say the car is 1 ton weight. The weight of the car is 1 ton. They do not say it's 1,000 kg. Okay, so it's just a quantity. Let's look at another question. Rebecca, did you understand this? Rebecca, did you understand what a ton is and where is it used? Let's move to the next question. Okay. Rosa went to the grocery store to buy 25 boxes of donuts. Okay. If this question, I would do it over here. If question number 5 says, let me align this. There were 21 donuts, okay, and bought 25 boxes. Let's just put it over here in each box. And how many did Rosa buy? Okay, so this is our question number 5, in which Rosa is going to the grocery store and buying 25 boxes of donuts. Each box has 21 donuts in it, right? So we just need to, thank you for responding. So we need to find the total number of donuts. How can we find the total number of donuts? See, if Rosa bought 1 box, she would have 21 donuts, right? If she bought 2 boxes, then we 21 plus 21, right? That would be 42. But she bought 25 boxes. That means 21 is multiplied by 25 to find the total number of donuts. Agreed? So let's multiply them together. 25 is multiplied by 21. 1 multiplied by 5 is 5. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. For the tens, we put a 0. 2 multiplied by 5 was 10. 1 is carried. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4 plus 1. That is 5. So we can say she bought these many donuts. So we can say Rosa bought 525 donuts. Agreed? So let's see what else we can do. In this, we are simply multiplying any given 2-digit numbers together, and we are trying to find the required quantity. Okay. Okay. The next question we have is a ketchup company. Okay. They're buying shipments of tomatoes. Okay. Let's see. For the next question, a ketchup company purchased. Let me just align this so that it is much more readable for us. Sorry. Okay, and all, let's align. This comes here. Let's put this over here. And how many? Okay, let's put it over here. So now we can say that the question number 6 states that a ketchup company purchased 67 shipments of tomatoes. There were 50 tomatoes in each shipment, right? And what we need to find is how many tomatoes did the company purchase in all? We need to find the total number of tomatoes that were purchased by the company, depending on the shipments and the quantity per shipment, right? So what we can say is, if there were 67 7 shipments, and each shipment had 50 tomatoes in it. So we can multiply 67 by 50. Aiken, Semi, and Rebecca, what would be the answer? Okay, I'll go slow. When they see they had 67 shipments. Okay, let's suppose they bought 67 boxes of tomatoes, right? Shipment can be a one box, right? 67 boxes of tomatoes. Each box has 50 tomatoes in it, right? So if you buy, let's suppose the ketchup company is buying 67, but let's suppose we buy one box of tomatoes. How many tomatoes will we have? We will have 50, right? If we buy two, that means 67 multiplied by 2. But the ketchup company was buying 50 boxes or 50 shipments. If one shipment had 67, that means 50 shipments will have, we multiply 67 by 50. Okay? Agreed, Rebecca? So what we need to do is, we need to multiply the shipments by the quantity. Okay? So 0 multiplied by 7 is 0. 0 multiplied by 6 is still 0. When we use the tens, 5 multiplied by 7 is 35. We carry the 3. 5 multiplied by 6 is 30. Plus 3 is 33. And when we add the numbers together, this becomes 0, 5, 3, and 3. So that means the company, the ketchup company bought, I can say that the company, M-P-A-N-Y, company bought 3,350 tomatoes, right? In how many shipments? 67 shipments. Agreed? So over here, we just had to find the total number of tomatoes. Yes, thank you. Semi? Okay. Let's go to the next question. The next question says, Cooper organized a bike race that was 65 miles long, right? Let's put down the values and let's see how we can finish this question, and let's try to understand. Just a minute, please. Okay. See, I can also make mistake. I read Cooper rather than Cooper, right? So we have to be very careful while we are reading the questions, okay? So Cooper organized a bike race that was 64 miles long, right? The length of the race was 64 miles. If one, right? 64 miles, and there were 63 riders in the race. Okay, so what happens is, how much miles they traveled all together? That means 64 miles was the length of the race. How many riders were there? There were 63 riders in all together. That means this would be the total number of miles traveled by all the riders altogether. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. 3 multiplied by 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. We put a 0 on the units. 6 multiplied by 4 is 24. 2 is carried. 6 multiplied by 6 is 36, plus 2, 38. So 2, 9 plus 4 is 13. We carry a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. We carry 1. That means 4032. So what we can say is 63 riders uh, rode 4032 miles in all, right? Let's focus on the question, okay? Because right now we are doing 2-digit multiplication, right? But once it becomes 3-digit, it would be a little difficult. Or they could be difficult numbers that we would need to multiply. Agreed? Let's focus. The next question we have is, it says each correct answer has certain points, okay, that are given to the contestant. Let's see how many points. Okay. For the next question, it says each correct answer has certain points which are given to the contestants. How many points did the contestant earn? Okay. Okay, let's put it over here. Let's put it over here. And let's put it over here. Okay. So the question says each correct answer on a game show is worth 56 points. 56 points is the correct answer. How many questions were there? The contestant answered 37 questions, right? So we need to find the number of points the contestant earned. So what we can say is for each correct answer, he would be given 56 points, right? So we can say 56 is multiplied by 37. 6 times 7 is 42. You put down the 2 in the units, we carry the 4. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39. The next part, we put a 0 in the units. 3 times 6 is 18 and 1 is carried. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16. When we add them together, 9 plus 8 is 17. Put 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. We carry 1 and this becomes 2. That means 2072. Let's confirm 2072. So we can say the contestant earned 2072 points for the correct answer. Okay. So these were the total number of points. Those were earned. Let's see, the next question we have is, I don't want to rush to the test so that if you are doing the test, then you people would be giving the answers. I want to do the explanation first so that none of us has any issues. Then we will do the test. Okay. That's why I'm trying to focus more on the questions right now. Okay. So we can say this, how many are there in all together? Okay, let's increase the size so that it becomes readable. The question number 9 says there were 11 bean bags, or 11 bags of beans, sorry. It's the reverse, okay? Hi Manoj, let's look at this. There are 11 bags of beans and they're saying that each bag has 98 beans in it, right? We need to find how many beans are there altogether, the total number of beans. So let's see. How many bean bags were there? There were 11 bags and Each bag had 98 beans in it. Agreed? 11 bags and 98 beans. So once we 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. We put a 0 at the units because we are doing the tens now. Multiply 9 times 1 is 9 and 9 times 1 is 9. So when we add them together, this is 8. 8 plus 0 stays as 8. Okay. 8 plus 8 is 16, and that is 8 plus 9, that would be 17. We carry a 1, this is 1078. Agreed? Let's focus, Valerie. Let's do this questions. Let's focus on the questions first. How many beans are there in together? We say there are 1078 beans in how many bags? 11 bags. Agreed? So we would always try to complete our question with a statement, right? So we would see the teacher, when you sit for a test, the teacher already knows the answer. They're not looking at whether you know the question, or they are trying to assess you based on your knowledge, right? To show all the steps, and we would give a statement. We would tell the examiner or the teacher that this is what I found out. This was the question and this is the answer, and we would refer to that. Okay? What did you not understand, Aiken? There were 11 bags, right? Each bag had 98 beans. So we multiply 11 is multiplied by 98. So we got 1078. And they were asking us to how many beans are there. Okay. So there were 1078 beans in 11 bags. Okay. Moving ahead, let's look at another question. The question number 10. Let me just copy the question. A minute, please. So if we have the next question, it says, each question on a game show, okay, is worth certain number of points, right? And for these correct answers, okay, this is given to us. Let's rearrange this so that it's readable. Okay, sorry. Let's put it down here. There are 95 questions on the game show. How many points were earned in the total? Okay. Okay. So let's see. This is question number 10. It says each question on a game show is worth 28 points, right? There are 95 questions on the show. How many points are there in total episodes, right? That means if there were 28 points per question, right? If you answer one question correct, you get 28 points. And how many questions were there? There were 95 questions, right? So when we multiply 28 by 95, what is the answer? Can anyone help me out? 28 multiplied by 95 should be 8 times 5 is 40. We carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10. This becomes 14. We put a 0 because this is tens now. 9 into 8 is 72. Okay, we put down the 0. Sorry, we put down the 2. We carry the 7. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 7. That would be, sorry, 9 times 2 is 18 plus 7 should be 25. So when we add them together, 0, 6, 6, and 2, it comes out to be 2,660, right? So we can say that how many points are there in the total? There are 2,660 points in total. Okay, this is the statement what we give, and we close our question. Okay, we always give a statement, closing statement. So let's try some questions from the test. Okay, the test would have very similar questions, just the values would be different, right? Because what we are assessing in this is how we can multiply any two given two-digit numbers, right? So we are just looking at the multiplication of two-digit numbers. So let's start with the first question. Please, let's do it together. Log into the test. I think it's taking time. I don't know. It needs to load. If it would not load, we will go back to the questions, okay? Oh, the question is there. And the first question, there are 29 questions, okay? So let's see at the first question of the test. I'll just put it down over here. Increase the size. Let's see what we can do. These are the answers. Okay. How many rolls of paper did, okay, Devon buy? So the question says, Devon bought, the first question of the test says, Devon bought 28 packages of paper towels, right? There were 20 rolls in each package. So how many rolls of paper towels did Devon buy? Can you give me the answer? Is it option A or option B? I'll wait for you. I'll give you some time. Can you hear me now, Manoj? Okay. Okay, you're talking about her. I just read your last message, okay? Manoj, focus on this. Can we focus on the question? Devon bought 28 packages of paper towels, right? So there were 28 packs, right? And how many are there in each pack? There are 20 in each pack. So the question is asking us how many rolls of paper towels in altogether did Devon buy? So we can say 28 packs he bought, and each pack had 20 in it. Apologies for muting. I have a sore throat. That's why in between I have to mute. Okay. So let's continue. The 0 multiplied by any number would be a 0. 0 multiplied by 2 would be a 0. We put a 0 because it's a tens now. 2 multiplied by 8 is 16. We carry a 1. 2 multiplied by 2 was 4. 2 multiplied by 2 was a 4, right? Agreed? Can you hear me now? 2 multiplied by 2 is a 4. It's working perfectly fine at my end. Okay. 2 multiplied by 2 is a 4, and 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay. When we add them together, this is 0, 0. Okay. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 6. Okay. And this is 5. So we can say the answer is option B. Yes. Thank you, Manu. The option is option B, that is 560. Thank you. We move on to the next question, and the next question says, we click onto the answer together, right? Because we are trying to do the test together and we want to do as many questions as we can. So for the next question, it says, the question number 2, I'll just minimize. Okay. If this is the question given to us, and the question number 2 says a seed company filled 20 bags with seeds, right? 20 bags were filled with seeds. This is option A. Option B, there are 20 bags and each bag has 93 grams of seeds in it. So can we say 93 grams multiplied by 20 bags? Okay. 28 multiplied by 20. Okay. Yeah, sometimes the questions might be different, right? It's okay. 1 minute. Let me change the position of the mic. How about now? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me now? Because my mic is working perfectly fine at my end, right? Yes, I am. Can you hear me now? Manoj, I think it's something at your end, right? Because my audio is being delivered perfectly fine, okay? So when we multiply, 93 is multiplied by 20. So what can we say? What should be the answer? 0 multiplied by 3 is 0. 0 multiplied by 9 is 0. We put a 0 because now we are looking at the tens. 2 multiplied by 3 was 6. And 2 multiplied by 9 was 18. It becomes 1860. Do we have 1860? Yes, thank you, Aiken. 1860 is the answer, right? That is option number A. Right? We have to select the correct option. Okay, I'll go back. Sometimes we might have different questions, okay, on the screen because the system, the website gives us, sometimes it gives us randomly generated questions. So if our questions are not the same, then don't worry, but you'll have the understanding of these questions, okay, so that you can do it later on. Okay, let's see option A, option B, and this is our question number 3 from the test. The question says a school owns 14 buses. There are 57 seats. We need to find the total number of seats. How many seats are there on total? In total on the buses, right? Okay, thank you, Manoj. Let's focus. A school owns 14 buses. There are 14 buses and each bus has 57 seats. So if the school would own one bus, that would be 57 only. If they would own two buses, that means 57 multiplied by 2, that would be 114. But if they own 14 buses, then what should be the total? 57 seats on 14 buses, right? Can I have the answer? Can I have the answer? 4 times 7 is 28, right? 2. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. 1 times 7 is 7. And 1 times 5 is 5. 8, 9 with a 7. So it should be how many seats? 798 seats altogether, right? Can I have the option? Can you please verify the answer for me? Is my answer correct? I am saying option B should be my answer. What do you say? Should it be option A or option B? 879. Okay, 57 into 14. Let's verify. Semi? It should not be 879, right? How can it be? Yes. Yes, Valerie. It is 798. Aiken, you need to look at your working. Maybe
some addition error. Because over here, see, this is 2 plus 7. That would be 9. We cannot carry anything over here. The starting digit of this number has to be a 7. 798. Okay. Option number B. Okay. Please do complete the remaining questions. Okay. They are quite easy. All you need to do is multiply two numbers together. The given values in the question, just multiply those two numbers together. Practice those so that when we move on to the next topics, we have a better understanding of how to multiply. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day and take care.